So this is full moon in Leo energy update. So today is Sunday the 5th of February. Yesterday was a doozy, and I did a little share on Instagram because the energy came flying in, and I'm going to just briefly talk about what I was talking about yesterday. So remembering that 3 days before a moon and 3 days after is when it's at its most potent. So the chances are we feel it more strongly there than we do here. Having said that, today I'm very, very tired. I'm feeling very drained, and I could actually just go, and I've obviously got something in my eye, and I could just do with the sleep, really. But I'll tell you a little bit about what I shared yesterday, the energy that was coming in, which will lead into this energy update. So basically, yesterday I woke up, and the day before I was already having banking issues. So I woke up the next day and had an even bigger one. Somebody had now come in and basically like hacked the account, loads of money gone missing. Nobody could help me, locked out of my banking account, like literally sat here, just powerlessness. And it was really serious stuff because it was quite a lot of money and I couldn't get to anything or fix it in any way. So that was really, really intense. So just a little sidebar there. I dived into expanding my awareness and then allowing the emotions to release instead of diving into the story. Didn't put out fires. I came back here and I released what I was feeling. And then when I came back and I picked up the phone to fix the problem, everything just unpacked and everything changed. Everything was sorted within a matter of moments. So that's what I'm just saying. Even I get really surprised at these miracles. It never gets old. I've been banging on for so long about how to clear the emotions and come out of the story, which is in the previous video, which I think the Manifestation Project, which is the other video on my YouTube. I think I speak a lot about this, on how to work with this. And it works because straight away I went back in, everything had changed. So that's what I'm encouraging now. In the moment when you get triggered, drop everything, sit down, don't put the fires out, don't run around trying to sort out the problem, leave it, do the energy of it first. And that is what being a true alchemist is about. And it's almost like Spirit said, well, you know what? You're banging on about this all the time. Let's just see how good you are at this. Oh my God, did they challenge me? I mean, if you could see this office, there were phones flying. I was having a tantrum. I think I threw my glasses at on the floor at one point and just lost my shit. But then I calmed down and I did the work and it changed just like that. So what I'm saying is everything in divine balance. Lose your shit. That's allowed. Then do the energy work. Okay. So now moving into what today is bringing. Okay. Now, the banking system, yeah, that was an opportunity to clear some energy. Awesome. And see, sort of like perfect the skills, as it were. But what was it really about? It was reflecting back to me big infrastructure that is collapsing down. So, I mean, you could regard a banking system or those kind of systems as big infrastructure, as you could do schooling systems or medical systems or whatever. Am I going to dive in now and say that I've got a big problem with my money? No, I haven't. I don't feel that at all. But what I do believe that is that it was two things: boundaries, because the money got hacked. And then second of all, it was showing me a big infrastructure that was collapsing down for me, because I just thought, well, I'm going to leave this bank now. I'm actually going to make a plan and do something different, something that supports me and aligns with my energy better. And the day before I was having an issue with another bank, my international one, and it was the same issue. So it's about collapsing infrastructures that don't support you anymore, and then choosing yourself, valuing yourself enough to say, no, that doesn't work for me. Going up to upgrading and going to a system that does support you. And this is kind of like what this energy update is all about: letting go of the old and letting all the new come in. Sounds a bit old and cheesy, but it's actually not. This is about infrastructure. And the cool thing about this is, if we're dealing with infrastructure and like the real big infrastructures within you, that means you've gone layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. Once you get to the infrastructure at the house, it means you're at the bottom, you're on the foundation, which means you're nearly there. You're pretty much done it. You're facing the big stuff now. House of Cards comes down, we move on. So this is a really good indication that we're at this point. So this is what this full moon is bringing in. Okay, so I'm going to talk about boundaries now, because in a way that was a complete basically, number one, the bank should have seen, and I'm just using this for teaching purposes, the bank should have seen that there was a ridiculous amount of transactions for the same amount on the same day, right? That should have put a red flag up. So they weren't protecting my space, right? So that tells me that I've got a huge gap in my boundary fence, and then just people are just coming in and taking what they want. You know what I mean? So there was a lack of protection there. Do you know what I mean? And it made me feel really vulnerable. So that's what I cleared, right? And then, and obviously then I fixed the problem. So I went down, put a big board up against where the hole was, knocked it all in and everything's sorted. So it was just a reminder to show me about boundaries and also to show me that infrastructure is indeed falling away. So boundaries, when they are violated, can come in all sorts of ways, shapes and forms, right? But what it is actually showing us is the actual need and the importance of clearing our spaces up now and getting really brutal with it now and just saying, look, well, that's the wrong word, brutal. I don't want to use brutal. Getting really serious about this now, because we are all on a very, very powerful mission. It's very much showing itself in crystal clear clarity now. And, put it this way, if you got given like a really big job, a big contract, and it was the job that you've been waiting for, and you were so loving what you did as this job, and you were like, right, I've got this opportunity, I'm going to nail this. This is my chance to shine. If you've got a team of people that aren't that great, half of them are in the corner smoking weed, the other two don't turn up for work that often, and the other ones are just on their phone all the time, not paying attention, that probably wouldn't be the kind of crowd you want to move with to kind of move forward to be, in your highest aspects, right? So everything that supports you has to be upgraded. Some may upgrade. You may say, hey, you got to put your joint down, stop smoking weed, you've got to be with me, we've got an important job. And they might go, okay, I'm upgrading, no problem, I'm with you. Others would be like, I'm not changing for you. So that's what I'm saying. You got to goodbye and you replace, or you do whatever you got to do. But this is what I'm talking about. Our environments, what we call our, what's the word? Okay, I've gone blank. I've just had a full moon Wi-Fi drop, but you know what I mean? Let's go back to the word environments. Environments, it's like, what are we surrounding ourselves with? Because that is a reflection of us inside. So if something's off out there, check your infrastructure, right? So that's what's basically coming up. And I have spoken a lot about Sekhmet over the last few days. She's really come in very, very, very strong. Now she is, she's fire, man. She's like the shadow mother, and she's like here to kick us up the arse. She's tough love, but she's also, she has been so loving to me in soft moments as well. But there is a balance, and she's coming up, and literally in our dream states, you can hear her, feel her, especially those that are really connected to her frequency. And she really is kind of saying, right now it's time. And she's calling us lionesses to come out of the slumber now. No more sleeping lions. It's time to come up and activate your encodements that you've kept closed down for so long. It's now it's time to step into the light. So there's I've said it before. It's not an urgent like thing. It's like now. It's not like, oh, you're late. Do you know what I mean? It's now. So it's immediate. So I have a list here, as always, placing old structure back down on the altar. So that goes back to what I've just previously said. Now, I went into a very, very powerful meditation and channel today, and I'm going to share that with you because that might actually help you understand like your own process as well. So, it's about, when we have an altar, okay, like a physical altar, we go to, it's a place of prayer. It's where we pitch up every day to talk to spirit, or I do anyway. You are a sacred altar at the end of the day, but we create that time to actually have our sacred time and just chats and exchanges and whatever. And, when we have an altar, we get to kind of like give our problems and our prayers and say, this is what's going on. But we also give. So there's giving and receiving at the altar. And we say our prayers to our guides so they can help us. And then that's kind of what happens. And they might say, well, you need to do less of this, or you need to do less of that, or more of this, or whatever. And then we get a chance to kind of exchange. And in that moment, we're able to say, right, I'm laying this down to rest on my altar. Thank you very much. But I'm now going to pick up this crystal from my altar because I'm going to need this. Do you know what I mean? So it's like through that guidance, through working with spirit, through you, in you, around you, through your altar, this is what we do. We place down tools that we no longer need because we're like, okay, that served up until now. But like I say, I would love that crystal wand. Kind of need that for my Harry Potter moments. Do you know what I mean? So that's where we're at. So what's really important and what the message is of today is acknowledge the upgrade in all of your systems. Like all of them, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all of your systems. Because literally what's happened now and what is happening, this full moon is going to help you clear this, is you've gathered all your bits and pieces in this transition of going into this new timeline. We've kind of fumbled over the finish line and gone, right, we're in this new timeline. Oh shit, I've left my shoe over there. Do you know what I mean? I've left my handbag, or you've left a leg over there. We kind of got over, but like we're still picking up bits and pieces and bringing over what we need, which is the altar thing, picking up and taking what we need, but leaving stuff behind in that old altar. So we're tidying it up a little bit. So use the fullness of the full moon to wash away all those other things you don't need, love and blessings, right? So now the acknowledgement is really important as well, because the thing is, it's just like a lot of us are still walking around in slumber. I go back to what Sekhmet says, time to wake up, hear her call. She's roaring. She's like, proclaim and claim your power. Now is the time. So it's to have a very, very conscious connection with this specific timeline right now. Acknowledge it. If you are not meditating and kind of like channeling like every day and speaking to spirit, there is a lack of presence there. There needs some kind of like discipline, commitment, order. Energy likes order. Energy wants order. Your body needs order and routine. So now it's time to kind of like get practical spiritual. And when you do, it's like the same feeling of going into that bedroom with all your jumpers and your socks and everything just mixed up as one. You go in and you have a blast, you throw everything out, you tied everything up. How good do you feel? When you've blasted your rooms, when you've cleaned your garage, you feel orderly, you feel clean, you feel ready for action. This is really important. So no more mixing your jumpers with your socks and no more chucking your boots in knicker drawers. Do you know what I'm saying? Get organized, and it's like get clean, okay? So now when that happens, then you're going to find the energy flows into you a lot more and you're going to achieve what you're trying to achieve. And this is what this full moon is saying. Get your shit together, basically. Okay. So now this meditation that I did today, I was sat there and I was feeling over the last few days that, in my creations, my Heka codes, but the biggest one is the tablets of light tour and everything like that and beyond. So I'm not just talking about the one tour itself. My biggest creation of essence of who I am in my life right now is Egypt, right? So anyway, I've kind of expanded it, cleaned it, and I felt this stickiness where I was like, can't really go any further. I feel like I've expanded and kind of got to the fullness of this room and I can't really do anymore. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, what is it? What is it? What is it? Anyway, I spent 2-3 days with it. So I sat with Sekhmet this morning and nothing came through. And she was like, and I could feel something was coming through. Then Horus came in. Horus came in and he made himself known right at the beginning of my channel. At the end, he came in as a hawk in front of me and he reminded me about my eyes. Left eye is Luna. Right eye is Ra, so that's going to be the sun. So moon, left moon, right eye is the sun. Horus, Ra, okay? So that for me is the divine balance. That is why Horus is all about harmony, okay, and balance. And he activated my left eye, my right eye, and then I had this divine split down the middle where I was this beautiful silver light and then beautiful gold light. And it didn't merge as such. It was just a beautiful balance. And I felt everything kind of sort itself out like a game of Tetris. And then I expanded. And all of a sudden, this being stuck in the room vibe, because my vision had expanded, I'd seen beyond the room because Horus activated this. He activates in fact, I need to do a guided meditation on this so you can experience it. Look out for it in my circle community. It's coming soon. But he, like left eye, right eye. What he shows me is here, third eye. He shows me always that there's a triangle here. This is the connection. So as soon as he and that's a good visualization to bring into your meditations as well, just if you're sitting there, left Luna, right sun, third eye. And it just opens you right up. And what actually happened, as soon as that happened, I was able to see beyond, which is what we want, right? When you have that kind of vision, you're able to see the truth. You can see through the dark, all the rest of it. You have your true oracular vision, which is basically your psychic vision. It's just, and I felt myself expand. And when that happened, I got lifted up fully and I got placed on the highest dimension, the highest timeline than what I thought I was on. And I was able to kind of bring my physical vessel in alignment with my mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies, and everything merged as one. And what he actually said was that this is your new focus. This is now the new you. That's where we go back to that acknowledgement. If you don't acknowledge or you don't take time to focus on this, you're going to miss it. You're never going to get there. So we have to meet spirit halfway. They got to meet us here, but we have to meet them there. We meet in the heart. So if we're not pitching up to the party, then you can expect to get so much. Do you know what I mean? So there is an element of turning up, showing up now. So once he expanded my energy field and everything like that, I felt all of the confinements, all of the restrictions fall away. Okay. And now he told me that like these structures you're letting go of, and I'm sharing this with you because he tells you, The structures we're letting go of is all of those times that have come to pass of us creating, manifesting, and doing what we've been trying to do. All as conscious creators, right? We've been doing it really difficultly through doubt, fear, all the rest of it, through our mental bodies, through our physical bodies, which was still quite dense, yet we still did pretty good. So it's actually letting go of the old way now that hasn't been cut cords with yet. So Sekhmet came in with a big clause, cut. I was able to let those ideas go, blessed and loved my old me. Off it went. And then I was able to go back into my left and right eye, which is actually union. Left and right, okay? He brought me into union and into balance. And that is why my physical body was able to merge really nicely with the mental, emotional, and spiritual, and everything just came online. And now I feel like super expanded. So this is something you might want to bring into your own meditation today, because the full moon energies are washing away all of that debris. Imagine being in a carpenter's workshop and you've been busy making stuff and there's shavings and bits of scrap wood on the floor, but you're making something amazing. And then all of a sudden a big tsunami wave comes and washes away all those bits and pieces on the floor. And then what is left is this divine creation that you've made, which is you. So all the dust and everything's blown away. So that is essentially what you want to work towards today. And today is really big. The energy is really, really big. So I think that it is time, I've written here, it's time for you to do different now. And I've written in big letters, lay claim. Okay, so I really, really, really do hope that this assists and guides with the full moon frequencies, because everything that I do and everything I share is very practical, spiritual, and it's everything that I've already experienced myself and I've put into practice. And as far as I'm concerned, it works, you know? So you may find your own versions. You might listen to a little bit and remember, because you are a unique divine light being yourself, you're also going to get extra channel on that. Horus might come and say, well, why don't you try this? Well, that's your message. Go for it. I am just here to open the door, shed the light, and go, have you looked at that? Maybe have a look at that. Like I always say, just sharing with the group, man. So things to share with the group, okay? The newsletter is going to be going out in a few days. I'm sharing lots of cool little mini classes on that. So far, we've done the Sphinx, Pyramid Power, and I think the next one is actually going to be Sekhmet. So they're like little mini masterclasses that I do on Zoom that I share with you, and they're private just for the newsletter. Second of all, in the coming weeks, I'm going to say weeks because I'm trying to get it all done, Circle community is going to be coming up. So look out for that. So I have nothing to share with you yet, but it's coming. And on there, free content. There is a private group for the Heka Codes, so you'll see all of that. So there's going to be this beautiful community where we can all meet. And that's where I'm just going to be flooding, and I use the word flooding, all of my Egypt stuff. The Egypt tour, Tablets of Light tour is coming up on April the 27th. So I'm going to be doing some really cool live video footage in that Circle community as well. And also as well, if you want to come and be with me physically in Egypt, you know, better get in contact, TikTok. But we're really excited because it's underway. It's underway. But that's where I'm going to be doing all the cool Egypt stuff, most of it in Circle. But other than that, you know, I think just now is this time to really, really work with these full moon energies and just claim. It's now just it's literally giving your sacred yes. That's it, and that's all. There's nothing to do. It's just a acknowledgement, as I say. Anyway, enjoy your full moon further, and I will post very soon. But yeah, chill vibes, man. Hope you get everything you need out of it. Peace and love.